So tell me about the sleepover.
Well, we slept over many times. But when you and Kelly were there alone, you slept in the bed. But when Lena was there, you wanted to sleep on the floor where you could all three be together in the same room.
Now, Kelly and Lynne were really close in age, but I was a lot younger.
Yes,
So
you were the honeydew. They didn't want you all the time, so they gave you little things to do.
oh, it's so funny. That's so funny. How about the cat? There was a cat named
Rebozo. Grandpa had a cat. It was a cat, I don't know, it just came to when Grandpa was out in the garden one morning. And it just came over to him and it stayed with him. So he named it Rebozo, and it stayed there until it died.
And where did he come up with the name Rebozo?
I don't know, wasn't it Nixon had I don't know, aide or whatever it was, named Rebozo?
I think you're right. I think you are right.
Had something to do with Nixon.
Now, color was the cat? Was it a black one? I'm trying to remember.
It was black and had a little white on it.
All right,
it wasn't a pretty cat, but he felt sorry for it, so he fed it milk and fed it every day, put water out for it. But it spent a lot of time out in the desert. It wasn't at our place all the time.
So it wasn't like the family cat. It was just kind of a stray cat that kind of mutually adopt each other, huh? I remember Grandpa hanging out in the garden. He was either in the utility shed or the garden all the time. But I remember he also used to do coffee. Remember his coffee trips? Tell me about the coffee trips.
What trip?
The coffee trips, the daily trips with the neighborhood.
Oh, him and down England, and I forget what the other fellow's name was across the street. They'd go for
Bill?
coffee down to every forenoon and every afternoon to the Buckhorn. Yeah. I think we covered that yesterday.
Oh, did you? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I remember it was a big treat whenever I could go to coffee with them. But you were allowed to go to coffee, but you only went was it the morning coffee or the afternoon coffee?
I hardly ever went with them for coffee because they enjoyed it themselves, by themselves. So.
What would you do? Did you guys have any lady time?
What did I do when they went to coffee? I did cooking, did the dishes, did the housework.
But didn't you and the ladies ever do it? Didn't you guys go?
Oh, yes. We'd go for out to lunch at noon. We'd go over to Phoenix, to the Glass Door, or to the Sugar Bowl, or some of those places.
Wow.
And we'd have a lunch out.
Wow.
The neighborhood ladies and I.
And then you guys would do a lot of walks.
Walking? Oh, I did a lot of walking. I got up every morning at 6 o'clock and I walked for just about an hour.
Wow. Usually by yourself or?
By myself.
And I remember when I was a little bit older and I was in Campfire, that walk would evolve into selling candy with me. Where I'd go up and down your street and make everyone buy my candy. They did.
That's okay.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to think of some stories. Oh, I remember snacks at your house. Tell about the snacks.
Snacks?
Mm-hmm. The yogurt, the fridge, Jell-O.
Oh, Jell-O, cottage cheese. Oh, Grandpa would go to the store and he'd buy yogurt, I think every kind there was. They put them in the fridge. And when you kids came, that's went right over to the fridge, and you liked the cherry best. That was the favorite. And the blueberry was pretty good too, but the cherry was your favorite. And then
The Jell-O.
Jell-O. We had Jell-O every time you kids come. And Jenifer, she had to take a package Jell-O home for the family every time. And if there wasn't a large package, she'd take 2 small ones. She never missed. She brought a package or 2 Jell-O home every time she came from our place.
And still to this day, I can't leave the house without a care package. Oh, that's too funny. Let's think about some stories from when we were kids. We talked about the teepees. Do you remember the climbing tree out in the desert at all?
No, you kids were out there alone, and
I remember the climbing tree to be a big, huge, like 2 Palo Verde trees that had kind of grown together. It had formed a huge canopy.
Yeah, that was up towards Garnick's, and that's where you kids were up there a lot.
We would climb it, and there was carvings all over it. And it was really sad when they tore the expanse of desert that we thought was just for miles and miles, and in reality it was probably only a 5 or 10 acre parcel, but it just seemed so big.
No, it was 1 mile long.
Was it that big?
But I don't know how wide it was. And, oh yes.
And there were creeks through it, and I remember we'd find gourds. We'd let them dry. You didn't find them very often, but you'd find them in the washes and let them dry and pick the little maracas. Yeah. I'm trying to think what else. Remember there was a golf course in there for a while.
No, the men, Louis and Don and another fellow, they made a golf course back there, and they played golf there every day in the desert.
Wow. Who would play golf? Grandpa and who else?
Don England and the guy next door, I forget what his name is.
Or the other side?
And then they played.
What else? When Grandpa came down here, you guys weren't retired right away, were you, or did you work?
No, we were retired.
And but did Grandpa didn't he work at Leisure World?
He worked at Leisure World security guard for a while.
And I remember there was that one picture of him at Leisure World where he's working the guard station.
Yes.
You remember that? It's like a brochure or a pamphlet.
That's where he worked. But